Hello.
Hi, Don.
Yeah.
She'd get on camera, but she's totally naked over there.
Whoa.
Well, that would boost ratings.
All right, here we go now. Hey, it's the Crunchcast 2-year anniversary. Can you believe we made it this long? 51st episode. We got a few classic regulars here. We got Jesse, and he's coming from a hotel in Dallas. Where are you at, Jesse? What is it? Is it a convention or something like that?
Screw Attack Gaming Convention here in Dallas. We're showing Mech Knight. Angry Video Game Nerd will be there. Adam Sessler and all of them. So that'll be fun.
Neat.
Cool.
John Jones is making his, what's the word for it? Prodigal son return?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm in New York City.
Yay.
And 30 pounds less.
Yay.
Zero pixels. Woo!
And Lee is here as well.
Yeah!
What up, Lee?
What up? I got my glow sticks for our party.
Nice.
How'd that go again? That little girl moan?
Not bad.
Now we just need like a shirtless, super buff dude with a whistle.
If you guys would have called me 15 minutes earlier, I was in the shower. I'm going to answer if they call. I'm going to answer.
Lee, put both those in your mouth. Be a rave walrus.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, John, the last time you were... Oh, what was that noise? Okay, John, the last time you were around, you were still in Austin, right?
Yeah. It's been quite a while. Yeah, so I left Austin and I accepted a job at Avalanche Studios in New York City. They're the developer that is famous for Just Cause 1 and 2, Renegade Ops, and last week at E3 we announced Mad Max, an open world game, which it's not the project I'm on. I've gotten to see it behind the scenes for the last, 4 months I've been living here now. I've been getting to see it behind the scenes, and it looks amazing. Just keep an eye on it. It's like the most brutal combat system I've ever seen. It's going to be a huge, huge hit. It's pretty wild.
More brutal than Soldier of Fortune?
Well, that's less combat, more like battlefield surgery.
That's one for the older gamers.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, actually.
Yeah.
For shooting
That was-
dudes' legs and arms off.
They call that the Ghoul system. I forget what the GHOUL stood for, but basically what you could do in that game is you could target any limb and just shoot it off of people. It was pretty disgusting.
That was such an awesome game. I played through that game like 20 times, just around blowing off guys' arms, legs, shooting
yeah.
them in the crotch. It's
You could
hilarious.
do it in multiplayer, too, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like
I
shooting.
remember the first time I ever really saw that tech in action. Juan was playing it, and we had the surround sound. He heard something coming from behind. He turned around. Some guy jumped. He just pulled out that shotgun, and literally the guy disintegrated, and just parts of his body fell. We're just like, oh, man, wow, that was hardcore.
That still hasn't been topped.
Yeah. Well, there's been some games that kind of were goofy about it. Like, I think, wasn't Bulletstorm a little bit kind of graphic, but it was more like a Tom and Jerry cartoon than Soldier of Fortune was just brutal.
Tom and Jerry in Soldier of Fortune 4.
That'd be a good mod.
That would be pretty awesome. Actually, fuck Tom and Jerry, Itchy and Scratchy. Just straight up Itchy and Scratchy, like Soldier of Fortune type game. That'd be unbelievable. It's like just intestines for streamers, just fucking everything. Fastest end game ever.
Violence at its best.
Except for, Anne Frank's drum set was banned pretty quickly.
So,
What are we talking about today?
What's everybody drinking tonight? I'm sporting some tea.
I have a Harpoon Summer beer.
Well, I've got my giant cup of water, but I also have a little bit of rum and cran.
Nice.
Rum and cran. Never tried that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's actually I got the that Bacardi lemon this time, but that's just because it was there. I'm like, let's try that. It's okay. I don't really like flavored stuff though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it tends to be kind of chemically.
Absolutely. Hey, did any of you guys figure out what that question was? That architecture one?
What can you read that again? So somebody mailed in a question that none of us could figure out.
It has to do with the hardware architecture of the current consoles. Let me see if I can dig that one up. It's so weird.
I feel like Silicon...
When you get a chance, discuss console architecture. Find out any info on it online. What does it mean? When someone says PS4 or Xbone, well, it's not called Xbone anymore. It's called Xbox 180, right?
Yeah. According to today.
Yeah.
That was pandemonium. My God.
Well, I'm guessing that just refers to the hardware in there, correct?
Yeah, it looks like just the hardware. It uses. I think they both use AMD now, right?
Yes.
And there's no backwards compatibility anymore.
Which is kind of a bummer, but I mean, at a certain point, you gotta leave it behind. I feel different ways about stuff for the Xbox 180. On the one hand, as a consumer, it kind of pissed me off that they just started like shoving these limitations down our throat. I feel like if they'd done a better job of marketing why any of it is actually good for a consumer, like you can let friends or family have like 10 free or like up to 10 friends or family play the game for free if you own it. I feel like if they pushed that more, or if they pushed any benefit really, I think they just marketed it really poorly, and it just sounded like, who gives a fuck? Like, this isn't for me. This is for content owners.
Yeah, like lice is good for your head if you want to shave your head.
Shit.
But on the other hand, as a developer, I feel like if they'd been able to do what they wanted to do and had done a better job of messaging, that would have been good for just getting rid of discs altogether and moving toward digital downloads and helping developers actually make money off the games that they sell instead of GameFly and GameStop getting all the money from used sales. I don't know. It's weird.
I was playing Last of Us yesterday, and
10 for 10?
And the loading... What's that?
I said 10 for 10.
10 for 10? I don't know. I've just started playing it, but there was this load screen, and I was like, I wonder if my PS4 or my Xbox 180 will stop the load screen. Can we finally get past where the disc's going to be fast enough to avoid the load part,
Shit, I never thought of that.
Because cartridges, we were like, hey, it's right there and done. Well, it's next. Is the new consoles? Are we going to see the same 20-minute load screen, or are we going to be able to do like the 360 and install to the hard drive? But then still, this load time also. You see the occasional loading. That would be nice to see something to avoid the load time. I don't know.
I feel like the load's going to be there from now on, just because of the textures having to be loaded up and stuff, unless they did some sort of solid state drive with your game installed onto it, or some new future tech comes along in a few years, which will obviously happen.
Or maybe even like allow you to store all the textures like on the hard drive, maybe. I don't know.
I'm looking at a full specs comparison to see if either of them have an SSD.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. The price would go up.
Well, actually, so this answers the console architecture question. I'm going to paste the link into the chat so we can put it into the Crunchcast when the video gets posted. But excellent. I close the window. So, yeah, they're both 8-core AMD CPUs. They're both AMD Radeons. They both have 8 gigs of memory. Xbox One has a 500 gig hard drive. PS4, on this page it doesn't say. Both have Blu-ray. They're almost identical, really.
Yeah, that link has a darn autoplay video, so you got a couple seconds of a quiet British guy.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh god, it started again.
Fucking autoplay.
Why do they
Right,
do that?
Oh god.
I hate that so much. Shit, what? Fuck. Ugh. It muted my microphone. There we
It's
go.
almost as bad as putting your demo rails on YouTube.
Actually,
That was not on there, was it? Was that on your list? I don't think it was or not.
yeah.
You said,
Yeah,
you said Vimeo. That's right. Yeah. That's what I use. I use Vimeo. It was funny the moment you posted that rant. Well, no, I wouldn't say rant. Quality posts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or as I call John Jones rant. I immediately changed my website, and I was like, you know what? All right, I'm guilty of too much content. It's time to remove some baggage.
YouTube's really fine for demo reels. It's the problem is it defaults to the lowest setting, and a lot of times people don't know you can set it up to 1080p, and then sometimes you have loading issues. But you get the same loading issues of Vimeo as well. I mean, I use both.
But the lack of so YouTube is just fucking weird about recommended videos. When I was looking at someone's demo reel yesterday, one of the suggested videos was a full-length softcore Indian porn, and several people said, "Isn't that based on your viewing history?" I wanted to say, possibly, but not for me. I don't have a Google history enabled, and I have a shitload of cookie blockers. So, still, I mean, if you're presenting yourself professionally to someone, you don't want if you liked this video, you might like this really hairy chick getting nailed, but not seeing it.
Right.
That's not positive messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube recommended videos are exactly what you're saying. If you are logged into your account and all that, you'll usually see a lot of stuff like what you'd expect to see. But if you had totally fresh install all that stuff, it'll recommend the weirdest crap. Stuff that doesn't make any sense. Because usually if it's set up properly, the recommended videos will be other videos from the user you're watching. But sometimes, man, I'll see some weird stuff.
Shit's weird. Just here's my little pony LARPing and lancing up oil.
Yeah, you just totally garbled.
Put them together. Let's move on.
John, you just totally garbled out there. All right.
I also think YouTube is if you put your reel on YouTube, there's no way to disable the when it finishes. Would you like to watch these videos also? Unless you pay. I think if you have a premium subscription, maybe I don't know.
To do what again? Sorry, John Jones just dropped out. He'll be right back.
When you're viewing someone's reel, when it finishes, it brings up all the tiles. Would you like to check out these other videos? There's no way for it, like in Vimeo, to automatically go back to the beginning again. So
yeah, that's a nice feature.
Yeah. But sadly, that feature in Vimeo only, I think, is with a pro version. I'm not sure. But I mean, I bought the pro version a while back, and I've been really happy with it as far as just embedding. So
right. No, I did the same thing. I kind of got lucky with the YouTube thing because I made a YouTube account years ago and then just never really used it until more recently when I started up this thing and all this other stuff I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because YouTube's so much fun. And sorry, my refrigerator started making a weird noise. But there goes Jesse. But Jesse was also just coming in from his tablet.
Yeah.
Using Wi-Fi at a hotel in Dallas, so he was expecting to possibly drop. Anyway, because I was kind of grandfathered in, YouTube gave me a lot of features like I could have the videos longer than 15 minutes, and Jesse's back.
Yay.
And yeah, I do
Welcome back, Jesse.
suggest if you really want to be a power user on Vimeo, you buy that, what is it, Vimeo Plus or something? I forget. But it allows you up to Yep, and John's back.
To share stuff out. YouTube is just so ingrained in all the Google sites and with Facebook and stuff. just
the door, please?
it's a nice website.
Yeah, that's the definite bonus I would say to YouTube is it's got a broader range. Like I love Vimeo, but no one ever really goes there to view my stuff. But whatever, it's cool.
Sorry about that. My computer's overheating. It's very old, and I have to replace it.
Oh well. Hey, did you ever get to replace your credit cards and stuff?
God damn it! I was literally just typing. I really don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's just fresh and painful.
How was E3, John?
I got to try an Oculus VR.
Oh yeah? Did you see the porn games that announced for those too?
Yes, I did. As I said, I got to try an Oculus VR.
Those are nice. I was lucky enough to get to try one. I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, but man, that thing freaked me the hell out.
Is it cool? I've not experienced one yet.
I got to try it like the earliest version of just the simplest thing before, and then I eventually saw TF2 in it. But we just had the little demo, and it was
okay.
It's pretty freaking incredible. I mean, it was one of those things where I was reaching around trying to grab stuff, and I'll tell you,
totally.
if it's like your first time, get somebody behind you to like trust fall you just in case. And then when you take it off, it's like you're stepping into out of a different world. It's weird.
It is the fucking future. I was meeting some friends at a bar at E3, and they had one over in the corner. They were playing this awesome tech demo of a roller coaster going around this badass castle.
Oh god, I wanted to try that, but I didn't get a chance. I saw some video of that roller coaster. That looks ridiculous.
And it's incredible. It's do you guys remember Epic Citadel, the thing Epic did, like that crazy castle? Basically, it's like riding a roller coaster around that. Yeah. So you put on the headset. It looks like, everybody knows what it looks like. It looks like every VR headset you've ever seen for the last.
So is it like the Lawnmower Man, like that? Remember Lawnmower Man?
Yeah, but good.
So yeah, I put that on, and then I'm looking around, and like it focuses correctly. Like I'm going from near to far. Near as I could tell. Like it would change focus. I had perfect peripheral vision. I was looking around. Everything was moving. Like it was like 60 frames per second, like perfect accuracy. It's like looking around, and all of a sudden the camera tilts up and does the juk 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 thing on a roller coaster, and you're about to do a big drop. Then it goes to like a fucking crazy 90-degree drop, and the world flies up past you. You're doing all sorts of hairpin turns. And the sadistic bastard, John, awesome guy. The sadistic bastard was speeding it up. He was fucking with everybody, making it go faster and faster, just to see if they grab onto the bar for support. And I was the only one that didn't, because I was laughing and cackling like a goddamn idiot the whole time because it was so cool. Plus, I didn't have my glasses on.
Would you buy one?
Yes, day one.
You would day one? Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just played, like I said, the earliest version. That little, I don't know if any other guys saw that villa. It's kind of like a nice little house on like an island or something like that. And the background had other islands that were. It was just a plane with kind of an island on it, just Alpha Plane Island. But it looked great when you're in there. It's like, what the hell?
It's ridiculous. I mean, how high quality it all was.
Are most of these demos in Unreal or Unity or what?
I don't know.
Various. Like I said, you can play TF2 on it. Okay. There's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friend Tom Forsyth was the one that ported it to port TF2 to the Oculus VR for Valve. He works for Oculus now. He was like he's like one of the top graphics programmers in the world.
Nice.
He used to work for Rad Game Tools. And if you guys have ever heard of Miles or Bink,
yep.
They basically make middleware that's been in every game ever created. And he was with them forever, so he's like the graphics programmer's graphics programmer. Now he's working directly with those dudes to make the shit kick even more ass.
That's cool.
It is amazing. Yeah, I really can't wait to see what they do with it.
Because they just got funding too.
Especially the porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got $16 million, or I'm not sure if it was a new $16 million round of financing, or if that's just what they've gotten cumulatively between the Kickstarter and whatever other venture capital and
Yeah,
investors.
because they've got that Kickstarter also where you can run around inside your little circle. You've seen that too, right?
No, actually, I've been oddly oblivious to
Oh
it
yeah,
until
I don't know
saw it
what
in the morning.
it's called, but you run around inside your little circle with your headset on.
It sort of looks like a. Oh, how would I explain it?
It looks like it looks like that Genesis round thing. What's it called? The Activator.
Oh yeah.
It looks like
It's
that.
like you're standing in. It's like you're standing in the middle of a circular bar, and it's almost like what is it, like a treadmill that sort of goes every direction, or
No, it's like it's got a dip to it
Yeah.
on the video,
like the
and your
octagon.
sneakers have some kind of plastic on them, which makes it really slippery. So when you start running, it knows you're running in the headset, and you could run. So the guy was playing Skyrim with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, man, all those in shape gamers.
imagine the shape you get in running around a big open world game.
Imagine all the heart attacks.
Yes. I can't fit inside this little circle.
You guys. Hang on a second.
That was it. Verd. Yeah, I found it. All
Yeah, I
right.
saw the Kickstarter for it. It looks pretty interesting. They have a lot of different levels of and
Yeah, this guy in the here I put in the chat for later. But this
Alright.
guy was playing Team Fortress 2 with it, and he's running around, and it's hysterical.
I want one. Immediately. It is so goddamn cool.
You know, on the
I
bright
would get
side,
that.
it looks like we might. I mean, as a kid, I remember all this stuff growing up. I mean, I was born. I grew up in the '80s and the early '90s when they started to have those really garbage virtual reality, like you said earlier, the Lawnmower Man, or there was this one thing down in the arcade at Myrtle Beach. They played like in 1986 or something like that. That was you pay $20 and you put on the headset. And it was just like some triangles and stuff, and you had like a little blaster like Duck Hunt. But it was just garbage. It didn't work at all. But the advancements that we've had just in these last few years, like I said, I haven't tried the Virtuix Omni treadmill, but I have tried the Oculus Rift, and that is the real deal. So
Okay, that treadmill. Tell me that's not Leif Schreiber. He was the guy that played he played the dad in Hana. He played the badass CIA dude in that Ben Affleck Tom Clancy movie, The Sum of All Fears. He's done a lot of shit. I just can't remember what he's been in, but it totally looks like that weird little, like, pinch face, strong jaw kind of dude.
Yeah.
well, people
He
did
looks way
notice-
too serious to be in that.
Yeah, I saw, like, was it UDK's new one's going to be Oculus Ready or something like that? Or I don't know if I read it wrong.
I heard about that, just not sure. I mean, I
Yeah, I
always
don't
say I'll see it when it is real. You know,
Yeah.
I believe in
No,
them. I'm sure I'm sure Epic got a hold of that thing and said we gotta integrate this. I mean, everybody that's got a
I
hold
think
of the
Unity
Oculus.
did also. Unity was the same way. Yeah. Eventually,
got
it's
to.
gonna be like the 3D glasses Nvidia used. Everyone's gonna want them. You know, you're gonna integrate them somehow.
I just really hope this is able to go mass market. And I see a thriving future in the XXX store private porno booth thing.
Yeah, I mean, we probably won't see it. I would say at least a couple of years because this is just emerging technology right now.
Well, it comes out
won't-
next year, I thought.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, even though it comes out next year, it's still going to need another few years of development, people refining it to actually make games that are, really kick-ass in it. Besides just porting games that are already going to be fun in it, like say, I don't know, any kind of first-person thing like Team Fortress or Mirror's Edge or Skyrim.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mirror's Edge.
Yeah,
That's
Vertigo.
gonna-
Everybody's going
that's
to
gonna
throw up.
Dude, okay, remember when the Wii came out?
There, found it.
Remember when the Wii came out and people weren't always using the wrist straps? You saw all these pictures of shattered TVs. As soon as the fucking Oculus Rift comes out and Mirror's Edge comes out for it, you're going to see like shattered
there's gonna
gamers.
There's gonna be so many people getting injured. Like I said, you need to have somebody behind you to catch you, or you need like a padded room, or actually, you know what would be great to play a Oculus Rift is like a bounce house. That's like the
Whoa.
safest place to. I think I just made a breakthrough with technology, guys. Oculus Rift
Virtual
plus
reality
bounce house. Nice.
I like that.
Patent pending.
Yeah, well, you need to register that domain like now.
I know, for real, but God, it's gonna be great. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, shit. Games keep getting better, so why not the tech? Why not the hardware? It's we've been keyboarding and mousing it, or controllers, or like you said with the Wii, and like it's not like PlayStation Move or Kinect went anywhere. I mean,
I don't know, Dance Central,
yeah. Those dance games are fun, but that stuff's been around since the Power Pad.
Yeah,
And it's not. I would argue that it's not gotten better since then. I did DDR. I love that. We had one of those pads,
Mm-hmm.
Good times. Great for annoying your downstairs neighbors. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's not really gotten better since that. I mean, what did you do? Connectables, and you could do this, and you could pet the animals. What else could you do?
I didn't get that one. I got for Connect. I have is it Children of Eden? No, I think so. It's the one where you put out your hand and you guide the. It's like a shooter. It's the same guy that did Rez on the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, the game that came with a vibrator. That's what it was, right?
And I have, mine didn't, but okay. And what else do I have? Yeah, I have Dance Central, and I have like the exercise game that yells at you.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm watching the naked lady dancing animation test from that. They have it filmed from like both eyes, so I'm like crossing my eyes and watching her walk around naked. I'm sorry, were we recording something?
Are you talking about the Oculus Rift thing for Sinful Robot?
Yeah, here's the link.
Oh, wait, was there a movie? I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's like one of those, so, those stupid, like, magic eye things? Do the same things, like let your eyes drift or cross your eyes or whatever, and it'll pop out as 3D. It's like stereo vision. So see a naked lady dance around.
Oh, yeah.
So, feel free to fast forward about a minute or two, Crunchcast listeners.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than going to a strip club for sure, but...
And cleaner.
Yeah. I found a way recently, because I got some friends that go to strip clubs regularly, and I never cared for strip clubs. I don't get it. But then I realized it's a hug store. Why didn't anybody ever think of a hug store? Like, oh, just come here to get a hug. Everybody loves getting a hug. It makes you feel better. And that's what people are doing. They're going for a hug, or maybe a little bit more.
Or a leg hug.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? The Oculus Rift. Do you remember that movie Strange Days?
Yeah. Oh God, yes. That murder
It
scene.
reminds me of that. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of because in that movie, he had was it the drugs in the glasses, or was it a disc that he went through people's minds or something? And there was that part.
So, yeah.
There was the part in the beginning where he jumped off the roof, and he took it off, and that reminds me of this thing. You can just see it now. You're playing a game like Call of Duty. You're running out towards the ledge, and you don't hit the A button to jump, and you fall to your death, and you can see the world falling before your eyes.
It'd be a great suicide simulator.
Yeah,
You should make that .com, and then you can.
Simucide.
It kind of makes me think it would be cool to watch movies with an Oculus Rift. Like, did you guys see the new Dread movie?
Yes, that was really cool.
Think about that and the slow-mo scenes.
Oh, that'd be amazing
with Oculus Rift.
Wow.
How cool would that be? Wow.
Dude, I as soon as I saw that thing and I felt it, I felt the build quality, I felt like the weight of it. it's heavy enough to feel like it's something, like it's serious, like it's not just a fucking joke, but it's light enough to feel like this is something I could keep on my head for a while. I felt like I was holding the future.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it still had enough weight that you said, hey, this is expensive.
Exactly.
If technology has no weight, then it doesn't feel expensive.
That's absolutely true. Oh man, you could fuck a baby's head so bad with that thing.
Oh, just imagine Oculus Rift on a baby would would that like hurt development, or would they come out a super genius, like like Lawnmower Man?
Well, in all honesty, if it was me doing it, that baby would not come out okay.
I mean, I'm sure it would be a lot. I'm sure it'd be a lot better than that bullshit, like playing music like Mozart over the belly of the womb. Like that turned out to be a bunch of horse shit.
Dude, you could like punish your kids by like strapping them to a chair and going like, all right, you dumped out a box of Cheerios, you're going off a cliff. You just put it on and just like virtual reality, just like
a little better than a timeout.
It's like, yeah, just like a demon like chucking you off a cliff and just watching your death come. My God, disciplined children is going to get so much easier at this.
Or
I could see the police pulling you over for drunk driving, and then strapping you in the back, and then putting the glasses on. And you're going down 75, walking into traffic. That'll be hysterical.
It's the new DUI test. If you put the
DUI
Oculus Rift on, and if you fall down, you're drunk, you're shit faced.
You're drunk, you're done. Yep.
Oh, dude, have you guys seen that video of that really fucked up drunk driving advertisement in the bathroom, where they replaced the entire bathroom mirror with this really high def TV. Mm-hmm. So people, but it's a video recording them. It looks like a mirror, but all of a sudden it's like the glass shatters. There's like some person's head just like smashed through it, bleeding everywhere.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's nice.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty. I'm not seeing that. No.
It is. I'll look that up and we'll link that as well.
I wonder,
the link out of curiosity, for the people that watched the Crunchcast, I'm curious how many of them actually follow these links and how many are interested in that.
Sometimes I do. It was more early on because when we talk about stuff, people would they would request to include the links. So I try to copy and paste them into a text file as we go, and put them in there. But yeah, most of the time, I mean, generally speaking, most people are smart enough to know how to Google shit, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's nice to hook them up.
That's cool. Okay, so
I'd like to know.
Here's the link. For whatever reason, the hashtag for that is PubLouShocker. I really don't think that's what they think it is. It's very British. Sorry, go ahead, Lee.
Oh, so I would like to know about what made you decide to go on your quest to educate recently. Was it just because you saw? Yeah, I liked it. Like usually, because there isn't really the holy grail of what to do on an application. It's more of like shouldn't say common sense. So I'm just wondering, what inspired you to? Because it's been the thread on Polycount just exploded and everyone's like,
Oh, you mean John Jones' recent tweets?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say there's any new inspiration. He does this every year.
I know.
And that was my response. I felt that I am upset that every year or so we have to say the same shit over and over. And again, here's another thing I've attached to this. Somebody's out there telling people that this is okay. Somebody is out there saying, "Yeah, do this. It's fine." And there's this incredible amount of misinformation that's out there, and we've got to destroy it because it's killing kids. It's destroying careers. It's like kids that are coming out of college. Somebody's telling these kids that what they're doing is right, and it's just killing their careers. I am almost positive that there's a bunch of people out there that are more concerned with holding their spot than actually educating people, so they're telling them something wrong. But anyway, what do you think, John?
I agree. I think so. To answer Lee's question, I've been give you guys some background, I've been doing these tweet blasts where I've been going through a lot of like portfolios and resumes and stuff, like partly for work, partly for just what I always do. And I just started seeing a lot of things in common. I just like overdosed on it. So I started writing down all the little pieces of advice that I could think of, and then decided, okay, well, these are all going out on Twitter one after another in like 2 minutes. And I'll put out like 15 to 25 of them. And the responses have been really great. Lee was kind enough to start a thread on Polycount for it, yeah, which is fucking exploded. And I don't know. I haven't been writing that much lately. I've just been so focused on work and stuff. I just have this need to show people, like, I don't know, the things that I see wrong, the things that I see people could do better, the things I think that could take someone from presenting themselves well to presenting themselves in a really great manner. I don't know. I love my career. I love what I do, and I think this is the coolest fucking job in the world. I'd love for more people to be able to do it. There are just so many simple, preventable little mistakes that most people don't really talk about or go into detail on. And I've been lucky enough to be mouthy enough for long enough just with Chris. Like, he and I have always had this amazing back and forth for like
that's why we're here.
16 years. 16, 17 years we've known each other.
Well, I've been in the industry for over 16 years, and we've known each other for a couple years before that. So
yeah.
Probably
That's
18.
what a Wix account looks like.
I'm so sorry.
I did not know what a Wix was until I Googled it, and I was like, well, maybe it's just like something like GeoCities, but now I feel like I need to put a website up on this.
A GeoCities site would be much better.
Yes, it would. It'd be less obnoxious.
There's all these happy people on the front page. It makes you just want to put your art on it.
It's so easy to make a really horrible, slow-loading, bad navigating website. It's very, very tempting. And I fucking hate it. Wix is not a blog. Wix and Blogspot are not portfolios. And actually, the Blogspot thing really set people off. So what do you guys think of Blogspot as a portfolio? Just like a straight-up normal Blogspot?
Well, Blogspot, I've seen the pros and cons of that. It's at least it's a nice image kind of thing. I've seen people use it right, where they don't use it like a blog. They just use it to, like say just Blogspot portfolio, and all they upload are just their portfolio images, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of works. There's a lot of extra stuff on the sides that's not really necessary, confusing, might get in the way. Oh, look at this other thing I can click. No, this doesn't really help. Like when I think of a portfolio, I think of, just the facts, man.
Yeah.
You get your portfolio images or demo reel or, whatever your department requires you present. And a resume or CV. And, anything more than that, who cares?
I'm
Exactly.
trying to find a Blogspot portfolio for VFX, and I haven't found one yet.
Yeah, that's just kind of my simplification of it all.
Wait, I found one in my...
But you know what always makes me laugh is when someone has, they've got 4 sections. Portfolio, resume, and then these 2 fluff sections called About and Contact. If you've got resume, then why do you have an About and a Contact? What's the point? Go to resume. Yeah. That should have all your contact information and everything I need to know about you. I go to your about page and I see a picture of you all like, and you fucking, I like to play guitar and dick around at the bar. Like no one cares. That's what the interview process is.
Yes, exactly.
But looking like, I'd say some people use Blogspot, I think, for, because it is cheap. It's free, right? And so is WordPress.com. That's free also. CarbonMate is also another good one too. I guess it's personal preference, I guess. But yeah, I guess since I don't use Blogspot, I guess every time you add a new piece of art, it adds a date to it, doesn't it? I think so.
Yeah, it's basically just
a blogger essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Blogger. Every time you add something gets bumped off the bottom of the page.
So I guess having it could actually hurt you, because if you had a really piece of crappy art you had maybe 2 years ago, and you applied for a job and you're all sexy with your art now, and some art director's like, oh, let's see what you did in 2003, whatever. They can click on it and go back, and that might ruin your chances, but it might not, you know. Some people just want to see what's on the front page.
Most people won't even go beyond the front page. This week I decided to issue an art test to a guy, but nearly didn't because his reel was on a second page and his really rough work in progress stuff was on the first page. I think Blogspot's great for a work log. A work log is not a portfolio. I like seeing process. I like seeing people's older work just to see how they develop, like the trajectory that they've gone through and how consistently they keep posting and keep doing stuff. Actually, slightly related point. Something I've seen a lot lately is like art school graduates. You know, as soon as they graduate, they just stop doing anything. The only work in their portfolio, or whatever they call a portfolio, is from when they were in school. They haven't done shit in like a year or two, and they're still trying to get a job, but don't have any new content.
Yeah, I'll throw it. Go ahead.
That's just kind of an issue. Something it makes it look like you stopped trying, and doesn't make you very appealing.
Yeah,
See, I copy
Blogspot is you can't unless you get like a really good Blogspot theme where you can just get all your images on one page, just like a bunch of thumbnails, so you can see what you want them to see instead of seeing everything in chronological order. You can't curate your content. A portfolio is carefully selected content meant to present an image. Blogspot, just in its default form as a reverse chronological, latest to oldest posting format, that isn't showing people shit. That's showing people a timeline, not what you want them to see.
Right. So what you could say, like, if you did a Blogspot, would it be beneficial to, if you did want to make a portfolio update and you were using a Blogspot as a portfolio, you would be required to, or I don't even know if you can, I've never used it, but just delete all your entries and then re-up them. Would that be a thing, or?
Theoretically, well, there are themes where it's just there are themes where it doesn't do like the whole post history thing. It's just one page, and that's cool. Like a handful of people that got irritated at me saying Blogspot isn't a portfolio actually showed me, I thought, decent portfolios on Blogspot. It shows the art they wanted to show, not just whatever crap they posted last. You know? Yeah,
there were people. I remember a while back people kind of crapped on Carbon Made, but then a few folks came up with a really nice template for a Carbon Made page, and now everybody uses that, and it's really nice. It's just basically a big blank black background page with like piece, one after another images.
Oh, it's really slick.
And that's fine, and that works great. One thing I was thinking about as a pro and a con to say a Blogspot versus a portfolio is, like you said, it does have that timestamp, and you're saying, okay, the student does just post what they did in school and then just slack off. Well, good job. There was a guy I knew a while back, and I called him out on it because he would post his portfolio asking for critiques and his updates, and it was just the same images for the last 4 years. And all you had to do was go to the forums, click on his name, go to his profile, go to threads started by, and you would see every portfolio update. And I went back to like this was a few years back. We'll say it was 2009. So I said, hey, I was checking your look at this. Here's a link to a thread you posted in 2005, and it was the exact same images.
Yikes.
So from that perspective, that timestamp perspective, there's a benefit there because anybody that like he had a regular website, which we would normally deem good, but as somebody that did I did my research on him, and I didn't do any research on him. It was just he just posts the same crap every year, and it was easy to recognize because there's the same dirty bathroom scene. Which, first of all, let me just throw this out there: if you're doing a dirty bathroom scene in your portfolio, that means that your portfolio is full of shit. And I don't mean shit like a bad thing. I mean literally a dirty bathroom is shit. As in doo-doo is everywhere. A dirty bathroom is a horrible portfolio piece, just like what is it, Argon Temple?
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat.
Yeah, I had to Google that.
It's that temple that has it's a classic temple that has the big tree that's taken over.
It's in the Unreal,
Yes.
the UDK demo, right?
It's been the
Yeah.
UDK demo level for years now, and you're not gonna out epic. So if you have that scene in your portfolio, you're fucked. Unless you're just the shit. And like I said, and we'll always hold this. This is the rule. If you're really fucking good, if you're the best, then no rules apply to you because you're awesome. But if you're not,
Yeah.
Well, I decided to copy the Chris Holden approach to websites. Well, not copy it, modify on my website. So
which one is that? The make it mobile?
to make it really simple, yeah.
Which is fucking perfect.
Well, I always
Yeah.
had a simple site, but then I saw what Jeff Parrott did, and I oversimplified mine. But because I saw what he did, then I thought, well, websites need to be mobile. Not that, I mean, obviously, if you submit an application to it, they're going to check it on a PC. But if your website can look good on a mobile device, then you're winning multiple battles. Your website needs to be so simple that it can load up on a mobile site, like a mobile browser or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a huge bonus now. Like, take away anything, any kind of slow loading, any extra scripts, any special features. Just give them the content.
Make your shit work on a lot of shit. Like, why
Yes.
wouldn't you want your website to be viewable on a lot of things?
Oh yeah, it was like this crunchstudios.com. Like, I check our stats just today, just because I wanted to brag. Because people don't know. You look at YouTube numbers, and let me be honest. Most people don't watch Crunchcast on YouTube. We've got the video because we're cool, we're fancy, because I'm high tech and all that shit. But most people watch the Crunchcast via a mobile device. So
Wow.
we're getting most. I could log into the stats right now and give you the numbers, but I'm not going to worry about that because it's boring. Most of the list of browsers are all mobile devices. Then the next one is Mozilla, and so on and so on. But most of them come from mobile devices. So I oversimplified the site just for mobile devices because
It says here is 176,000 views.
according to on what? Oh, did I tell you that or?
No, I just went on your about site, about part. Did you beat me? Let's see. Oh yeah, damn, by 70,000 views. Damn.
For what? You're just making up stuff?
No, I'm just looking at. It says views. and it-
142 billion.
Yeah, it says if you go to the person's about page,
Oh,
it
okay.
tells you the views, and then so you have 176,000 views. I only have 106.
On what, my site or Crunch Studios?
Oh no, on your YouTube site. I was saying.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
YouTube thing. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, yeah.
the YouTube site. That's a bit skewed because I have a Minecraft video up,
So that's
and
like
that
4
thing just gets
a
ridiculous.
million.
Yes. But just to throw a couple of numbers out there, just real quick. According to my
Yeah.
stats on CrunchStudios.com, the MP3 downloads, we have over 160,000 MP3 downloads versus
Jesus.
and I think the top episode is somewhere around 8,000 downloads.
that's really
where
good.
if you go to YouTube, the top one is just over 1,000 or so. So it's almost like 10 times the MP3 downloads because, like I said, most people are listening to podcasts through mobile devices, and that CrunchStudios.com is transferred over 425 gigs of data, and the only thing that's on that site is the MP3s. And I mean, and there's an HTML page which is about 10K at best. I don't
My
know. I'd have to
God.
check. But yeah, it seems crazy, but yeah, it's just you got to think about what people are looking at when it comes to your site. You got to simplify it. You got to think about mobile. You know, if you're a portfolio, you're not worried about a bunch of views, a bunch of downloads. You know, forget the podcast stuff. That's not your goal. Your portfolio goal isn't to get views. Your portfolio goal is to get a job. It's your career.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And another thing, your portfolio is not about you and your idea of what you think. Oh, look at this is my. Look at me playing on my guitar. Like I said earlier, it's not about you. It's about your career. Ugh! Stop showing episode 1, Lee.
You look so young.
This is a 2-year anniversary. We gotta show clips, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we should do a Crunchcast clip show.
Yeah, it should be a Crunchcast clip show. Yeah, looking at the highlight reel.
We should just put together clip shows. Imagine how much time we could save. It could be like a syndicated TV series where they just do a
choose
clip
a
show.
random one.
And we've done over like 100 hours, right?
Hey Lee, since you're on there, go to the playlist and look at the total time real quick.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Go back to the playlist and look at the total time at the top.
Okay.
Oh, dead air. How awful. So, John, so we're talking about the portfolio tips. Before we get into the art test tips, God, I need to load up your list really quick, but it just goes back to your portfolio repels jobs, your classic article, and you're pretty much we're just parroting all that old information. It's all the same stuff, right? But it's a bit updated to today's blah blah blah.
With Wix. But yeah, it's the same shit. That came out in October of 2005. And I mean, that was the culmination. That article was a culmination of everything you and I had ever talked about.
Yeah, cause it was. I think the original article was you were at the time you were doing outsourcing, and I was at one of the. That was the first time that I actually put up a job listing, and I got, like you said here recently. I think what spurs every time you make one of these dumps of information, or I do the same thing, is every time we put out a public job application. Because we'll end up getting dozens of submissions. And what happens is, okay, I've still got to do my work, my daily job, but I've also got to look through, like I said, dozens, possibly 100 plus emails a day. And here's what, and like I said, I've told this so many times, the employer isn't an asshole. The employer is just a guy just trying to do his job. And when you open up your inbox, and you've got all these emails, you go, okay, click. Okay, I don't immediately see a link to a portfolio. I go, next, click. Okay, here's a link to a portfolio. Click. Okay, I don't see art. Next, click. You just, that's what it is.
Yes.
If you don't immediately see those, either a link to a portfolio or a zip of a portfolio, because a lot of times, and like we said, all this portfolio talk aside, sometimes portfolios are a bit of a NDA-ish. They don't want the stuff out yet, so they'll just send you a zip file of confidential art. That's pretty common.
Side note: never do that unsolicited.
Yeah. You have to make sure everything's cool. You can't just send people stuff that's undisclosed, because that's how stuff gets leaked.
Yeah, you don't have to just email around confidential shit without asking. Just like, hi, I'm some random guy you've never met. Have a bunch of confidential shit. Will you give me money so I can do this to you someday?
Exactly. But yeah, it's one of those things where that's the problem, is you're just looking at portfolio after portfolio after portfolio, just like one after another. After the 5th or 6th, you're done. And by that I mean you're just done with the bullshit. So you just want. That's why we like to standardize the concept of the portfolio. Just open it up, boom, content. That's all you want. Yeah. Just keep it simple.
And Chris, something I've been noticing just the last few days that I've been really getting into this is since that article came out, and since you and I have been talking to people, giving people advice, being on forums, giving like doing one-on-one stuff, mentorships, as we're doing Crunchcast over the last, I guess, almost 8 years now since the article came out, since we really started going public with this kind of thing together. Ever since then, I see traces of the things that we talk about, of our ideas, of our conventions showing up in everything. I notice more and more people put their real names and the title and position they want on the top of their portfolio. People put all their shit in large, easy-to-access thumbnails on just right in the front page. Like, shit isn't as nested. I think that you and I have actually made a huge difference just in how many years we've been harping on this. I'm actually seeing our influence on it, and it's trippy as shit. Maybe that's super egotistical, but
Oh, no, it's not, because
none of these things happened before.
well, I still see today when someone posts just a garbage ass portfolio on Polycount. Often the first reply will be a link to your portfolio repels jobs, your original article that we kind of conspired together on. But again, I always give you full credit for, because you know it's the problems I saw, you saw them as well. It was always the same shit. And I still think my favorite anecdote from that was, okay, I go to your website, splash page, home page, portfolio, characters, man with axe, thumbnail, man with axe, you know what I mean? I forget exactly how it went, but I always liked man with axe.
And it's still the same. It's hilarious.
It never changes.
But since I've just been overdosing on portfolios lately, like I said, like both for work and for just, you know, I spend my free time looking through stuff to help people out when I have time. But the more, just going through that many of them that fast, like past a certain point, the different resumes and portfolios cease to seem as much like people. It's just a series of patterns, a series of keywords, of things I'm looking for, of patterns I recognize, thinking, okay, I see, 3 out of 5 things that tell me I'm wasting my time. Or I see, 7 out of 10 things that look like something good, so I'm going to spend more time here. It's all, like, it's, in a weird way, it's automatically, psychologically dehumanizing. It's just pure pattern recognition. What am I looking for? What are the triggers? What makes me want instinctively to look at this longer than this? It just goes on complete autopilot. It's hard to remember that these are actually people really trying and really doing stuff. It's just, what you present, like, it sounds really shitty, and I try very hard not to do this. But it's natural to want to just not think of a portfolio as something a person is doing. It's just like what you present is who you are in that context. So, like, your work is you as a person. I don't think about the bands you like. I don't think about whether or not you're married or have kids. I don't think about anything. If I see good art, I think, hey, that's awesome. That's a good person. Or if I see really crappy art, it's like my instinct, once I get kind of burned out, is like, you asshole, what are you trying to do to me? I have to snap out of that. I have to force myself out of that. But see, I'm more patient than most people. A lot of people in the past few days, with all the tips and stuff that I've been putting out there, they're saying, well, you're really picky, you're really opinionated, you're very harsh. I'm actually more patient than most people. I just recognize the point at which people that don't care as much as me will get frustrated, will get annoyed, and won't give you the chance that you deserve if you'll really think about it and really try. I want to try to open that up for people, make it more accessible, and help them have a life that's as cool and fulfilling as mine is. But it's so easy for just people that, even with me, as much as I care, it's so easy to just dehumanize people like that and just see them as pictures and words. But that's the kind of thing you're fighting against. Like, all the advice that you and I give, I think, that all of us give, it's like how to do your best and stand out in the worst case scenario. Like, if you have a Blogspot portfolio, I don't think you should be, stabbed to death. I just think that, across hundreds or thousands of portfolios, on average, in my broad experience, most of them are bad and make it harder to see your work, and that's not good for you. That's why I'm pointing it out, and I'm intentionally making extreme examples just to try and drive the point home. Here's how to get noticed. Here's how to be different. Here's how to be good. It's not that I'm actually that crazy, mean, or judgmental. It's just, for people less diligent than me, for people that spend a lot more time than I do going through portfolios and shit, I can see how this can suck, and here's how to get around that, and here's how to do better. That's my whole thing. I never want to seem like a snob. I mean,
No,
I wouldn't say anything if I didn't care.
Yeah, I would say the reason why X company that I applied to 3 months ago never ever got back to me is because I had way too much content on my website, and I had stuff embedded. So you have to go to like portfolio, blah blah blah, or and I think I had way too much stuff embedded, and that probably turned somebody off because they're like, main page, demo reel, okay, now what? Do you know what I mean?
But I think the term you're thinking of is nested. Embedded is like a video inside a web page.
Okay.
Embed video is very, very good. Nested, like deeply nested, very bad.
Hidden art.
So
I know exactly what you mean. I just looked at your portfolio. I see what you mean. Like your shit is straight up there. It's right there.
Then I just decided. Then I saw
that's
Chris.
Cool. It's really good.
And I saw what Chris did on his site, and I was like, well, I can do the same thing, but I'm just gonna do all videos. That way, if you go to my website, you'll see immediately I have videos.
And
This is what
just
I
for the
do.
uninitiated, Lee does FX, so you kind of need video to understand what you're doing. It's like an animator versus an environment artist or a character artist. FX kind of needs video. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, this is my portfolio. This is what I did. Just have pictures, and I have all these are videos, and that's all I did. And so just getting the content there. But everyone needs content.
And that's good. And I want to harp back on what John was saying about not being a snob. You're not being a snob. It's like what we said. You're getting dozens of the same thing, and you need a format, a standard kind of format to really grasp what you're seeing quickly. Like going through emails, like, okay, bam, here's this, bam, here's that. But on top of that, you know what you're looking for, John. Me and you, we're artists at heart, but here's the problem that people run into more than us. A lot of portfolios go through HR. These are portfolios that are going through people that don't really know what to look for, and they don't really have the heart or passion that we have.
Yeah.
Most of those, a lot of. I'll just be straightforward. A lot of hiring managers, a lot of PR or HR type people are just doing a job. They could give a shit about you.
I'm getting messages. See, I got one right here. My wife is like, here. Shh. Sorry.
But yeah, dude, it's you're not getting a straight line all the way to the art director. I mean, a lot of the time, like it worked lately. Just today, actually. Our HR lady, who's actually awesome, one of the best the best HR person I've ever seen or met or worked with in the industry, period. She's fucking awesome. Like, she's been forwarding me resumes and stuff, but she came out with a printed stack of them to my desk. So I was looking through and looking at the skills and stuff, but honestly, I need to see the art. And there was one person who looked like they had good experience on the resume, but they didn't include a link to their portfolio. I had a printed copy.
That's probably because they sent the portfolio link in the email. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't think to themselves to put yeah.
Yep. So the link to the portfolio wasn't in the resume, and I had to Google for it. I was determined. Most people would just say, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm not bothering with that." But I did, and I found this person's portfolio. The work was great, and they're getting an art test. Most people won't go that far or try that hard. So across all the portfolios and everything I see, like Chris said, I know what I'm looking for. And when 15 people look the same, the one person that stands out, the person that immediately jumps out at me, the one I notice, I try to figure out what made me notice them. And that's why I write. That's why I give tips. That's why I give advice. It's like, oh, this is what they did. You can do this too. That's a great idea.
I have noticed a trend now where people use. I don't particularly like it very much, but they have color strips or they have graphics on the resume. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of that, but whatever. It's your resume.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean,
yeah.
If it gets printed out, that's not getting printed on a color printer. People are going to see that and they're like, "Fuck, I'm not wasting ink."
Yeah.
But
And then now, how do you feel about putting? Do you prefer seeing skills at the top, or do you prefer to see your experience first when you're looking at the roles' resumes? Which one grabs you first?
depends on the level of seniority of what I'm hiring for and the level of seniority of the person. If you're junior, if you're just out of school, if you don't have any or much professional experience yet, I like seeing skills at the top. I like seeing what you've done and what software you know. That is excellent. I never, until this week, I never knew that. That's just what stood out to me first. Instead of, these are kids, a lot of these are kids straight out of school, and, they're working at Subway or Kinko's or doing retail. That's fine, but if you put that experience first and you don't have anything else, you're applying for a game job, that's not going to grab me. But if you put the skills and stuff you do first, I'm going to look at that and go, oh, okay, well, these are some of the keywords I'm looking for. Cool, all right, then I'll read on. So if you don't have a lot of experience, don't try to fluff it out. Just put your skills first and invest in your skills and your software proficiency. And that really stands out to me. However, if you've been in games for 3 to 5 years or more, you've had a couple jobs, you're going to want to put your experience first and describe what you did at those jobs. That's going to be more meaningful to me for that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, that skills thing really surprised me this week. Just because I saw a few people doing that. I'm like, man, that's a really good idea. More people should know that. Because I've always, I feel a little bad admitting this. I've always thought it was kind of funny, people trying to have a job so I'll use myself as an example. My first job was working at Target as a cashier, temporary cashier for the holiday season. But I'd see, if I was going to write a resume trying to get in games, typical thinking is you put down your experience and try to make that sound amazing. I'm not going to make, if I'm wanting to work in games, nothing I say is going to make working as a cashier at Target sound like the greatest thing in the world. What do I have? What is relevant? What can I put in front of their eyes first to make them notice me? Target's not going to raise any eyebrows, but knowing, Max and Maya and being experienced with this and that, that's going to be more relevant. So if you have nothing else, if you have no professional experience to fall back on, yeah, skills, education, and then just in order of most relevant first. And I think that's great. That's the kind of thing catches my eye, and that I think that's a really good tip for new grads.
Yeah, my first job, my first job when I came to the States was working at a game store.
Nice. Look at you living the dream.
I know. Yep.
No, I mean now, you start.
Oh yeah.
You start doing that, and now you fucking make them. That's awesome.
Well,
I was making fun. I think that's cool as shit.
Although I do miss getting games at cost. That was really nice.
Oh, that does sound nice.
Yeah. It was weird. You'd get a game in trade because they had get a game in trade, and then say they were trading in a Super Nintendo game for a Star Fox, for example, on Super Nintendo. They get a game in on trade. Whatever the cashier paid out, you got that at that price. And so, got my paycheck would just go away, literally.
And by the way, I don't know how many people know this, but Lee, you're born in England, correct?
Yes, I am. Yes.
So he is British, but he totally doesn't sound it. You're you're a stealth. No, you're stealth Brit.
Assimilated, I call it.
Very nice.
Like the Borg, yeah.
I did the same thing, at least I tried to. I was born in South Carolina, and boy, if you heard the way I talked when I first got out of that state, whew.
Y'all?
That's just a word. If I said y'all in my proper Southern accent, you wouldn't even understand what I'm saying. I spent the first few years of my career, but everybody's saying, huh? But I think a bit of that was attributed to mumbling, and if anybody just doesn't understand you, work on your speech. And
Chris Boomhauer Holden.
Yeah, actually, my best friend all through high school, his stepdad. When people confuse literally with figuratively. Now this guy literally had the Boomhauer voice before I even saw King of the Hill. Before that show even came out, he was an awesome carpenter. He had a carpenter shop, and he could make anything. And he was a really good guy, a badass. But every time he talked, it was like, "Hey," and he'd go, "Hey man, you going to go on skateboarding out there?" And I'm like, "What?" I never understood a word he said. He literally, like I said, literally, not figuratively, he literally had the Boomhauer from King of the Hill voice. It was like, "Hey, man, what you got doing out there, man? I'm going to grab me a beer." And I'm like, "What?"
Dude, you sound like you're beatboxing a banjo.
I know, right? And that's how he talked. It was crazy. But like I said, great guy. But woo.
Sometimes my English accent comes out when I'm on the Polycounter Hangout, and some of the UK guys are in it. It will suddenly come back all of a sudden.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's like when you get comfortable enough. I mean, I was born in Atlanta, lived there till I was 7. Then I was in Oklahoma until I was 19. So I've always been sort of like South/Midwest. But I've managed to mostly get rid of my accent. So I'm fairly non-regional. I like to think, but when I'm around people who have a Southern accent, sometimes it'll come out a little bit. I've even got a little Texas in me, like a dude, howdy, and occasionally y'all will come out.
Yeah, I like to throw a few of those nice words. It makes a little, adds a little flavor to your voice. But I heard a lot of people they say if you wanted to get into radio back in the old school days, you would move out to somewhere in Nebraska where apparently there's basically no accent at all. And my first job, after I moved from South Carolina, was in Nebraska. So I was surrounded by all these just people with zero accent or personality, and that's kind of where I learned. John laughed that hard because he worked there a little bit.
Zero accent and personality. Man, you almost sneaked that one right by.
Yeah. You can throw
by the way,
little ones.
Dude, totally random note. I can't remember if I told you this. I may have, but my girlfriend's stepfather was born and raised in Beatrice. Isn't that weird and sad?
Crazy place.
Hold your excitement. Hold your excitement. I know.
That was Meredith, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Meredith.
But so what was your first job, Chris?
Who, me?
Like just like first.
First. My family has a boat mechanic dealership, and my first jobs was basically sweeping floors and cleaning up around there until I graduated to pretty much boat mechanic work, where that would include, most mechanic work is just my boat don't work, and I would clean the carburetor, put some new gaskets on there, and it would be fine. Because that's mostly what it is dirty carburetors. Or when we get the new boats in, like the pontoon boats.
Yeah, those are cool.
Those are like for those that don't know, those are the boats that have the two big, huge tubes that run along the bottoms. Those that float it, and then it's basically a big flat piece of plywood, carpeted and trimmed up all nice. Those would come shipped like basically the pontoons, as in the two tubes, and everything was just wrapped in plastic and flat on top, and nothing was assembled. And I would just spend a whole day assembling one of those. I would just assemble an entire boat, and that was fun. It was fulfilling.
That does sound fun.
And that, besides that, you would take an outboard motor and take one off and put another one on, or install steering and stuff like that. That's how I got started.
And see, the truly impressive thing about that not many people know about Chris was his first job was as a boat mechanic, but this is an example of triumph through adversity. Chris is, in fact, allergic to water.
That's not true. Actually, I went through as a kid, because we had the boat business. One of the first things they did was enrolled us in swimming lessons every summer, and I went all the way through to lifeguard training, and would spend summers teaching kids how to swim, which by that I meant taking the net and cleaning the barf out of the pool. Because that's what kids do. They just throw up in the pool. That whole don't swim after 30 minutes or whatever because you'll get cramps. That's a myth. That's an old wives' tale. That was invented. The concept behind that is because if you get in the water with a full stomach, you're probably going to throw up because you're a dumb kid. And the idea is to avoid all this vomit in the pool.
or you do an element class in CrossFit. You can puke up without any food also.
Oh yeah, but it's not in the water where everybody's swimming.
No, but yeah.
You have to try harder to go find water to puke in.
Another misconception is the chlorine in the pool makes everybody's eyes burn. It's actually the urine.
I've always done my part.
Hey, John, part 2, you want to talk about the art test tips? Because we got a lot of those.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I feel like art test tips hasn't really been covered ever.
No, the only one I gave was a true story.
Yeah, I was just referring to John's. Like I said, he did the Twitter dump the other day. He did the portfolios one, and the next one, the most recent one, which was today, was the art test tips. Where obviously he dropped. What is this? You got 16 here. Oof.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of rush through the first one, but the second one I kind of want to get your guys' input on. The first art test tip is never. Not that I don't want you guys to pitch in on this, but the second one I think will be fun for conversation. Art test tip number 1: never be afraid to ask questions. It's expected. For an art test, they'll lay out detailed instructions and whatnot, but we also want to see what kind of questions you'll ask. Like, how do you think? Are you gonna leave something deliberately vague? And how do you ask the question? How do you think it out? How do you think things through in a process? But don't ask a question just to seem clever to try to prove how smart you are. But do try to ask all the questions all in one go, so you're not just peppering them with like a billion different questions as you go.
Oh yes, I've had buddies. That just berated me with questions. After a while, I was just like, just shut up and do it.
It can get excessive, but just try and think your way through the whole process. That's kind of part of the test, and the quality of your questions really says a lot about you. I have a really good example of that, but I can't really talk about it because it's a work thing. It's too specific. But so I'll just gloss right past that. But learn how to ask good questions, but not just to make it seem like you're trying to make me think you're smart. But art test tip number 2, Chris, I know you're going to have some good stuff for this, and Lee, I'm sure you will too. Follow directions precisely. You'll be astonished how often it doesn't happen.
Yep, I'm guilty of that one.
And are you referring to the one that I tweeted you as well about the concept thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that astounded me. There's been 2 different times where I've done art tests where I accurately followed the concept art, that they gave me to do the test. And they told me, they're like, "Oh wow!" When I was actually, later when I was at the in-house interview, as in I passed the test. We're good to go. And they said, "Oh wow, you're the only one that actually followed the concept." I was like, "What are you fucking talking about? I'm the only one that followed the concept. Why would this is your career we're talking about? Follow what they tell you to do. What the fuck?" I mean,
it's like, congratulations, you passed the don't poke yourself in the eye test.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to sound like over, zealous about it, but seriously, what the fuck? Like, why would you not follow the concept?
Yeah, this one test that I did for this company, I followed it to the T, and then they told me in my interview, our engine can't do that, so you failed the test. And I was like, wait a minute, you told me that I could use Unreal. In the test it says Unreal allowed, and other engines, and so I did it, and they were like, we can't do that in our engine, so your test is not valid.
What?
Yeah, and they were just like...
I guess it goes both ways.
We can't do that. And I'm like, well, if you'd have told me you can't do that, it'd be a different story. Don't put it on the... Anyway. All right, next one.
That's totally their fail.
Yeah.
So one thing that someone was talking to me about on Twitter, they had a question about it. So I'm going to read 2 of these together. We give directions for art tests, but also read between the lines what isn't said to add extra polish. And my seventh tip was over-deliver within reason. Is there a way to jazz this up a little within my creative time and tech constraints? So, like, we're going to give directions. We like hearing good questions, but we're not going to leave you without the tools to do what you need to do. We want to see how you think, and as long as you complete the test exactly the way they say, if you can find some cool way to jazz it up or to make yourself stand out a little bit without detracting from the test a whole lot, that is a cool thing. Like, an idea that popped in my head earlier was, let's say you're doing a character art test. You'll complete the test the way it needs to be completed, but why not add like a custom cool little pedestal for that character to stand on that has the company's logo in it? Like, don't spend a ton of time on it, but just like a nice little bit of flash, like a nice little extra touch or something. Just a little thing like that to make yourself stand out slightly. That kind of thing can be good. Don't go crazy overboard, but yeah, just find cool ways to be creative, but still get the job done, and don't be.
I am guilty of going crazy overboard and actually screwing up the tests. Yep. So I had to do a rocket launcher, shooting a rocket launcher and exploding, and then my roommate was like, "Why don't you blow up a car?" and so I didn't spend any time modeling the car, though. I went on TurboSquid and found a free car and put it in the scene, and I blew it up, and then I sent it to them. And then looking back at it now, that was a really bad mistake because it looked like crap. You know what I mean? And so I shouldn't have sent them that. You know.
Well, like, dude, I mean,
because it doesn't look. Well, looking back at it now, it doesn't look as good as it should have been. And I can see why I got rejected, because I didn't follow the test, and I also added more thinking it was extra polished, and it really wasn't. You know what I mean? There's that too. You gotta be careful.
Like, see, that kind of thing, I mean, is part of the test. It's awesome to want to, make something amazing, totally over-deliver, and do a great job. But in the workplace, if your art director asks you to do something, he's expecting one thing. He doesn't want, like, that one thing and a bunch of other stuff. He wants that one thing done well. If you can find something within the parameters of it still doing exactly what he wants the way he expects it, but here's something a little cooler about it, then that's great. But not, I sort of half did this thing but had this other idea. So you're not really getting what you want. You may not necessarily want this. And a lot of it is contextual, but if you're doing an art test, all you really have is just like your art test brief. Here's what you need to do. Don't go so far out of bounds it seems like you can't follow directions. I guess that's a clearer way of explaining what I was what I was trying to do in the tweet.
And that's why we're here.
Next one. Oh my God, this is so important.
This is number 4.
Yep. Be tidy. The art test is as technical as it is artistic. Keep like a tidy outliner and scene structure. Have a clean object and file naming. Make it all make sense. Make it all follow some kind of convention. In a PSD, use layer groups. Name them and organize them well. Just make things easy to access. Make things organized. Make it so I don't have to dig around. Because I saw an art test that was done in Maya, but the guy was using the default Maya scene directory, or like the Maya default scene structure. There were, I think, like 18 different directories for like fluid VFX, for all sorts of just whatever bullshit. It took me literally 5 minutes to go through every directory and subdirectory and delete them just to try to find his textures for the test. For just like a static environment piece. And nothing was named correctly. There was another test where I had like 50 different textures when I only needed 3. I had to manually reassign all of them because they were screwed up within the scene. And it took me 15 minutes just to be able to view his test. Keep shit clean, keep shit tidy, and just make it look like, you're not going to be the only person touching these assets. Just make it make sense so that anybody coming into it will go, oh, that's what this is. It's clean labeling and organizing. It can go so bad. You guys you've worked with people. Okay, if you've worked in games for longer than like a year, you worked with people, like your coworkers, great as they may be, have the most fucked up scenes, directory structure, organization, naming, all that crap. I mean, it's a freak show, right? It's hard to work with.
Oh yeah, you open up a file and it's all
Yeah.
orthographic views and Mac. You're like, oh, orthographic.
My
That's a
first
preface.
job, not in the game industry. My wife also worked there, and in her office, she took these files from another artist, and the naming structure was blah blah 1, blah blah 2, follow blah blah circle, blah blah whatever. You know, that was the. Oh god.
I always like to name files like that I submit, like especially for an art test. I name files like my first last name is in
Right.
that is in each file name, just because I think that helps for them, especially their organization, and everybody
Yes.
that reviews and looks at it. They say, okay, Chris Holden.max, Chris Holden.psd. It sounds people might say, oh, no, you're just putting yourself over. No. You gotta make sure your name is in your file so people know who did this. So that
Yes.
way, if say you just like say all right, you're submitting your files to a big company, and everybody's looking over a bunch of art tests, and if you have your first and last name in the naming structure, properly, not just like some garbage like you said, like Chris Holden _01,
Yeah.
But make sure your file naming is really nice. But if you got your actual personal name in there, that helps a ton, especially if it's a nice entry. Because you're getting your name out there to everyone in the company.
No, absolutely. And it helps keep things organized because, okay, so in every company I've ever worked for where they're giving art tests, there's an art test directory and there are folder names of every single candidate that's applied. And it's easier to sort through, it's easier to find stuff. I don't know where it is, I'm just running a search for it. If your name's in the file name, it's easier to find. It's just those tiny little things, those tiny little bits of attention to detail, just evidence that you're thinking of other people and trying to make things a tiniest bit easier. That's such a good thing. The little things like that really go a long way. Even though it may not necessarily be consciously recognized, it makes a difference. Honestly, like succeeding or failing in anything, but like especially an art test, it's not doing one specific thing super, super right. It's doing as many little things right as possible. There's one other one. This applies not just to art tests, but just to work in general. Be on time. And if you're going to be late, acknowledge it instantly. Like as soon as you know you're going to be late, tell them, and politely propose a new date or give them an expectation of when they can get it. Don't disappear. Don't pussyfoot. Don't lie. Don't bullshit. Just be honest, because it's better to be honest and give me expectations of what I can. Give me expectations and let me know what I can expect, and not to hear anything from you and be totally in the dark. Whether you're submitting an art test or you're going to be late on something for your art director or lead, or if you're just going to be late hanging out with friends or whatever, don't puss out. Don't be shy. Own up to it. You're going to be a better human being for doing that.
Also, if you get 2 tests at the same time, it's good to ask one test person, a company, that you would like extra time also, because that sometimes works. I noticed.
Oh yeah, or just one thing. If you know you're getting one test, and you have another one that's going to be coming in before they send you the files. Don't tell them you're doing another art test. Just say, I'm going to be available starting at this soon upcoming date. So, like, if they send you the test, like, the clock's kind of ticking. But if you can sort of give an expectation, here's when I can start and this and that, that's, in my opinion, that's a good way to handle it. But yeah, just be open, just be honest.
Yeah,
ask.
like I got 2 tests in one go a while back, and I was like, do I want to work on this or this? And I asked one of them for more time, and they're like, no, the clock is ticking. So I was like, well, I'm going to work on this, And then this got me the job, and I didn't care about that one anymore.
But, yeah, and see, like, that's an awesome problem to have. Go you.
Yeah. If I'd have taken this one, I would have worked with Chris, though.
Yeah.
I'm not working anywhere. What are you talking about?
No, I meant like in the Virginia days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So your next one, the over-deliver one, that seems a lot like the one about the extra polish one you're talking about, like adding pedestals and stuff like that? Or are you just saying like, additional stuff?
That's the one I mentioned before. I did 3 and 7. Just, read between the lines and over-deliver. They're kind of related and probably should have been the same thing. Like I said, this was all kind of stream of consciousness, but it's like, I see all this stuff and just like, type.
Oh, I understand. It's not like a fully refined article.
Yeah. Probably could be, but tweet blasts are a lot funnier. They're a lot funner. Another one, unless they say otherwise, assume the art assets are meant for a real-time game. That's
so don't use
should be
turbos.
obvious, but isn't. I can't go into specifics on that kind of thing, but just
it's
assume
just people submitting stuff that's just not gonna run on anything.
Yeah, or like half a building.
It was funny when I did my art test for Infusion back in the day, and I actually got the job there, which is an awesome place, but they couldn't open my art test because I did it on Unreal 2004, and I kind of pushed the envelope of what it could do, and they were telling me they couldn't open it at the time.
No.
So they had to look at pictures in my interview. They couldn't because they couldn't open my test, and I was like, oh, okay, well. So that was it turned out okay, but yeah, you should always be careful. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Just make sure you're working with the right versions. That's something I've run into a lot as well. Not just for art tests, but for working with outsourcers. Sometimes they'll have one version of something and pretend to have another because they don't want to say otherwise. And, yeah, all sorts of goofy little shit. Let's go through the rest of these. I got to get to bed pretty soon. This is something that I think more people should do. When you submit your art test, always send a separate confirmation email. Because if you're uploading it to an FTP, the FTP is not going to notify anybody that there are files there. And a large email attachment may sometimes bounce and you may not know. So send a separate email just saying, hey, I attached this file to the email, I sent it here, just want to confirm that you got it. Because waiting for several days only to find out they never fucking got it is awful. Awful. Plus it shows you're thorough and you know what's up.
Yeah, and the fact that you're uploading it on a specific time stamp is important to a lot of,
Ooh, good point.
That point that okay, you have a deadline, so if you email them and say it's uploading or whatever now, and maybe you have a slower connection or whatever, that needs to be addressed. But yeah, go ahead.
Excellent point. Think hard about how you distribute detail with polygons and texture. It says a lot about how you think. Like if you put, if you have like, let's say, 20,000 polys for like a basic environment scene, and you put 19,000 of them into a really simple terrain and 1,000 to everything else, that tells me you don't really know what people are going to be looking at. Or like where to concentrate your detail, or like how the game is played, or how players perceive things. Like for character models, if you work like in a first-person shooter, for example, from basically the head is what people are going to be looking at the most. The the shoulders and chest are second most, maybe first most if it's a female character. But like all the way down to the feet, like you don't want to concentrate all your detail in texture space in the feet because that's going to be the least visible. Just try and have some kind of general prioritization for how you spend your detail. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to go out of your way to say, oh, I did this, I did that. Just being able to deliver it and let me see for myself that you know what you're doing, you know what's up. I may not acknowledge it, but it makes an impression.
Yes, as an environment artist, if you're doing a first-person project, you got to think about the detail you're going to see from that perspective. That's ground level. Anything above that should be lower. Anything above that should be even less. If you're doing a third person, you got to think about what's above that. If you're doing RTS, you got to think straight down and above. And next topic.
Yes.
Going quick.
Yes. if you're asked to provide, I already covered 11. If you're asked to provide diffuse, normal, and spec maps, don't just randomly not use them and not explain why. I had this happen. Insta-fail. Next one. Don't include files with random names like somethingwhatever.tga or goddammit.pleasework.jpg or owlswithdiarrhea.ma. Just name things well and professionally. And this is
next one is controversial.
Don't put art tests in your portfolio. It means you failed the test, and I've already seen 50 other people do that one, and probably better than you did.
I couldn't agree with this more, but I know you're going to debate it tomorrow with a couple of guys who are they're pretty high level, but
yeah, I don't know. I've seen the Naughty Dog test a lot, and some people just made it look amazing, and it was like the best piece on their portfolio. I don't know.
Yeah, like it says two things. One, okay, if you're applying for a job with me and there's an art test in your portfolio, that tells me you tried once and failed. And it also tells me you don't have enough other work to show, which tells me, well, if you're really serious about finding a job, what else are you doing with your time? Why isn't there more that you can show?
Right. For a very short time, a long time ago, I kept an art test in my portfolio because it was an art test that I passed. But then the studio lost all their money and disappeared. But that was just a weird situation. However, I've seen so many other art tests that were just clear, obvious failures, like really bad, and they just kept them in the portfolio, and it was sad. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes.
It's sad.
Ask your friends. Ask your friends to look over your work. Be willing to accept criticism, and don't make people wonder, did you even look at the reference or read anything? That just sucks. But the last one, I think the most important, is like on a completely serious note, don't let your own self-doubt keep you from finishing or submitting the test. It's their job to evaluate you, not your job. Just stay strong, be confident, and let it go. Don't defeat yourself.
Right on. And I want to just take a quick jump back to 15 there. You're talking about accepting criticism. It was one of the another ones that I sent you that you retweeted. Was I knew a guy who, and he sent his when he sent his art test in, and it was one of those rare opportunities where we were able to give him feedback on why he failed the art test, right? And he was just completely dismissive. Every piece of feedback we gave him, he responded. He said in a chat, he goes, "Yeah, I just didn't have time." It was so dismissive and so negative, and he was basically, the guy was throwing himself under the bus by having this dismissive or defensive attitude about every piece of feedback that the company gave him. And it was just like, okay, well, you're on the blacklist now, and we'll fuck you. We'll never accept anything.
Actually, I would love to get credit for all the art tests that I did. I would love to get credit. What could I have done better?
Oh yeah, it's so rare that you even get it, but to have that, but to have a bad attitude about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, and I totally. And like number 16, like stay strong. If you get a rejection, just move on. Don't bug them and say, hey, just an email just saying, hey, I'd like to thank you for taking the test. Have a good day. Just move on. You know what I mean? I've had a situation where I got rejected, and then a few years later, I actually got a job there, and I actually asked them what was wrong with my test. And they told me what was wrong with it. You know what I mean? But that's a rare. That's been very rare for me anyway.
Oh yeah. Always be respectful, always be cool. No matter what, always say thank you. Just like people will remember the polite, humble person.
Oh yeah, respect goes so far.
And attention, also, just like for accepting criticism, attention is respect. Even if you're hearing things you don't like to hear, attention is respect, and it should be reciprocated.
I would say if you want if you want to get a real crit, you should go on the Polycount Hangout and ask somebody on there, because if you don't know anybody, or you're afraid people will be like, that looks awesome, but you feel like something's wrong, usually on the Hangout somebody will give you a good criticism.
Excellent advice.
Yes, these hangouts are a fantastic way. Just go into a hangout and work, and then people don't initially judge you unless you're ready for it. I've been on hangouts for years and just sat there, and I haven't been doing them lately because I've just been goofing off. But
you have a cooking show.
I have a cooking show.
Damn. I look forward to that show every day. What to make?
Every week. I'm uploading them once a week, and I have like 8 done now, so it's about 2 months worth. Yeah.
Nice. Look at you.
I got a lot going on. I'm a pretty big deal. Just kidding.
That was very like Mac from Always Sunny.
No, fair enough.
Also, as far as portfolio tips is when you're doing a demo reel, don't put anything with music lyrics. That's
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because or like headbanging music. I mean, I like to drive. I have no problem driving to techno or headbanging music.
I
or
love
playing
metal,
it, or,
but
but if you've got a demo reel, I'm sure the art director will look for the first mute button. I don't know if you've had any of those yet, John. Like crazy reels with the.
Well, the first thing I do when I open up a demo reel is I mute it.
Yep.
Most videos, it doesn't matter what it is. Most videos that I open, the first thing I do is mute it. And then I kind of adjust up if I need to hear some sound. It doesn't matter if it's a demo reel or not. But if it's a demo reel, it's getting muted unless the sound is important.
Pretty much. Like what? So I'd like to propose a rule for demo reel music. If the band whose music you want to put in the demo reel is played at a festival, if their name is in like the top 5 lines of bands named in that festival, it should not go in your demo reel.
And then, how do you feel about the 5-second put your name at the beginning? This is your demo reel. Go, or do you want to see it? Like I personally don't do this, but I don't put like the fancy. Oh, this is my stuff. My name is blah, Win Lights, and then I go. You know what I mean? I've seen some people do that too.
No dubstep.
I like it. Oh, thank you. I like it. No dubstep ever. I like a name sandwich. Just name, email, or like name, title, email, website, like 3 seconds before and after. Doesn't have to be like a 20th Century Fox logo, like Lee, dun, 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 dun,
Right.
Lee, boom,
Yeah.
Lee, dun, 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 dun.
A thing that I do now, because I've got so much work, is I do numbers on the bottom corner. That way, when you do your breakdown and you want to do it on your website, you can say, this is this shot, what I did.
Oh, great idea.
So people, when they look on the website, they're like, okay, I remember number 5 being my favorite. And then you can go look on my breakdown and it will say number 5.
That is terrific advice.
Yeah, so I recommend doing that. That way you can say, if you worked on a shot, say you worked on whatever game, and you worked on a shot, you can be like, at number 5, I did this part. You know what I mean? You explain exactly what you did.
And name the game as well if you can.
Oh, right, yeah. On the breakdown, yeah.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, people should pay attention to that. That's good stuff. So, hell yeah. That was some good shit, guys.
I think we won it. I think we won.
Huzzah!
We won the internet.
2 years.
Right there, yeah.
Hey,
I think,
2 years, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
2-year
cheers.
anniversary, 1-year anniversary for John Jones because of all the episodes he missed.
Today, see?
Chris, put it up.
Wait, here it
We're
is.
cheersing.
Wait, I'm finding the camera. I got it.
Here.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen. To 2 more years.
Is it an Unreal Glass you got there?
I do. I got an Unreal Glass. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This is from
You
GDC.
glorious nerd. I love you,
No,
Lee. I miss you.
No, this is from GDC. Was it the one before last? GDC Online, when they had a party and they had these Unreal Glasses, and so you only got one for getting a beer. So my friend, he was going around collecting Unreal glasses. People would put the glass down and go talk to somebody. He would swing behind him and grab them. So he walked out with like 15 Unreal glasses, which essentially made his apartment much better for going hanging out, drinking. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately they do chip rather easily though.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, when I got to see the Unreal 4 in a couple years back, or the GDCs, I thought it was really gross in the Unreal booth because they had like open food, like jars of M&Ms. People just putting their hands in them.
Ah.
And like, oh, look at M&Ms. I think that was gross when there's open like
food.
Peanuts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You need to put them in those those water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So you dump them out into your hand. You shouldn't be able to like scoop your hand. And I was disgusted. I was disgusted by the Unreal booth colors.
I wonder if there are catering companies that deliberately set up situations like that just to give people diseases because they hate people.
I just know
Maybe.
if you go to GDC or E3, you never hold the escalator when you go up. You never touch it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like...
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, just have hand sanitizer with you at all times.
Dude, yeah, like a GDC, like the rails and the escalator, that's like more butt than butt.
We used to have this joke. We called it PAX disease.
The Pax Pox.
Xbox, yeah.
PAX Pox, yeah, because it's a public
box.
Yeah, it's a public event. Yeah, I've got sick at GDCs before as well. Just so much hand touching and like you're shaking hands and it's so easy to get fucking sick at an event. Ugh.
You know, like other people's like pubes, like having sex on your hand.
Well, you spend years destroying your immune system by just sitting at a desk by yourself, not touching anything, not being around anything, and then you go to one of these events and all these diseases come in and everybody's got mumps and stuff. It's not like you got kids that are like going to daycare, coming to your house.
The worst part about the gaming events is they'll have a controller for you to pick up, or a mouse, or a keyboard. Like, come check out our game, and you move towards the keyboard, you can just see it like pulsating. Or the controller, you can like feel all the slimy, everyone's sweat is on it.
It's like it's so dirty, it's emitting a low bass hum.
Yeah.
It's like the closer I get to it, it's just like am I hearing a Lustboard track? I mean, this is gross. all right, dudes, I gotta hit the hay.
That's okay.
All right, man. Thanks for doing it. And hey, you got anything to promote before we're out besides at John Jones, who's not the UFC fighter, who breaks his toe doing nothing like a pussy?
Hey, I've broken more toes than the other John Jones.
I have something to promote.
Really? Because he broke his toe.
What?
What do you got to promote, Lee?
Oh, so if you're gonna be if you're in the UK and you live near Birmingham, there's a Res conference going on right now. This weekend, you can play Space Hulk on the show floor.
Oh, sweet.
And then I will be going to Gamers Day in Memphis, Tennessee for the Games Workshop convention, where I'll bring lots of hand sanitizer, and I'll have it also on playable demo too.
Dude, very cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And John Henderson isn't here, so I'm going to throw out this. Captivate Conference 2013, October 6th through 8th,
Oh, yes.
Austin, Texas. I'm going to apply as a speaker, I think, but I need to write that up.
I should get you on the panel that I'm going to do a panel. I should get you on that.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a panel on freelancing, and I've got several people that are lined up for that.
Sweet.
And then, we're looking for speakers for that, which will be, if you're interested in speaking at Captivate, it's going to be really
I can
big.
talk for hours about anything. I mean, honestly, look at this. I've got hours on YouTube. Why not? But I've got a plan. I've got a plan for the Captive Conference. I got to submit it. I haven't written anything yet, but I've got a plan.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we're looking for speakers. It's going to be really big. I'm really looking forward to it. So
it's a great lineup. I've been going through it. There are a lot of really solid talks, really solid speakers, and I'm usually kind of down on conferences. But oh, actually, shit, I do have something to promote. Sorry, speaking of conferences, I totally forgot this. It's called the External Development Summit in Vancouver, September 3rd through 5th. It's the industry's first outsourcing-focused conference. And I am going to be presenting a talk on how to choose the right online collaboration tool for no matter how big your team is, what to look for, and how and why. And I'm also speaking on a panel for a piece of collaboration software called Shotgun that started in the film industry and is starting to spread its way through games. And I've been using that extensively. So it's my first really super big conference speaking gig ever. I'm pretty stoked about it.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool. And when's that?
It's September 3rd through 5th, I believe.
Okay. So you can go to Vancouver and see John, and then you can come to Captivate in Austin in October.
Actually, we were planning on visiting Austin in October anyway, depending on my project and how crazy shit is.
Nice. Well, as far as me, you can follow us all on Twitter. I'm at Chris Holden DEV, Chris HOLDEN DEV. Lee is Gizmo-san. Good luck spelling that. It's going to be in the.
And John Jones.
It's going to be in the
is
about.
famous.
John Jones. Confuse him with the UFC fighter.
At your peril.
And if you're going to watch this show on YouTube, check out my cooking show I just started. I've got 2 episodes up yet, but it's weekly, and I've got 8 episodes recorded, ready to go. I'm doing it weekly, and it's just to show my confidence in it. We got it going on.
I will say that salmon I made that was pretty good.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice. The first 2 episodes are pretty weak, but that was just a learning process. From there on, I'm advancing my meals, but my ingredients are really cheap and really easy to cook. So, anybody else?
Awesome. And he's actually, Chris is raising a live pig to slaughter on the air live.
That would be sweet.
For a future cooking
Do you know how much blood that would be? It'd be ridiculous.
You know what you should do also for your cooking show is you should have a $10 spending limit
Ooh.
or something
I
like
could
that.
do that.
I could get you a pig
What
for
can you make for
$10.
$10?
Dude, $10 is a lot of. People don't even know $10 is a lot of money when it comes to cooking.
$2. I don't know.
Yeah,
You could buy
dude, I can get getting dried beans and stuff.
It's a ho-ho stuffed with dried beans and ramen.
A potato cost like 50 cents.
Yeah. So
You
it's
know?
like a $10 meal. So say for example you're budgeting yourself.
One baked potato,
Say like
dried
per
bean,
week.
for
rice.
a week. Yeah. What's your so say your weekly expenditure is $20, and so making food for the week.
Yeah, I don't want to get too ridiculously strict, but yeah, you can really do a lot for a little bit of money. And actually,
I'm just thinking of-
I
sorry,
recently had a conversation with a fellow. He said eating out was cheaper, and the end of the conversation was me saying, "Go fuck yourself." No, I actually didn't say that. No, what I said was, "You're a fucking idiot."
It's very constructive.
Because it ended that way because he kept arguing with me that eating out costs less than buying your own food and cooking it, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, maybe if your entire diet is Whole Foods organic brand
Yeah.
truffles.
Yeah, we talked about that. We said if your whole diet is like high quality grass fed sirloin steak, then yes, it's gonna be more. But if you're buying dried beans, you're buying brown rice, you're buying fresh produce like onions, potatoes, sweet potatoes, etc. That's real produce. It's cheap. And I live in the expensive part of town where it costs more. It's my brain blows up at this stupidity. Anyway, let's just cut it out.
Chris, just last thing. When you said dried beans and eating on a budget, I'm just thinking of old Looney Tunes cartoons. They're trying to illustrate how poor a family is, where there's this giant platter, a single little bean on it. There's oversized knife and fork
Oh yeah, I remember the old it was Mickey the Jack and the Beanstalk cartoon from Disney, where it was Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, and they have the one bean, and they're trying to cut it, and they're cutting it, and they're in those little thin, transparent slices. I suggest everybody try to Google and watch that cartoon because Donald Duck goes so psychopathic crazy in that cartoon. It's one of the most. It's more disturbing than the Reservoir Dogs scenes where the dude gets his ear cut off. Donald Duck is the most disturbing character ever in that scene. You trust me, it's crazy.
In this movie, you're the suffering succotash.
All right, should I stop this? Should I press some buttons? Are we done?
Yeah, probably.
All right, thanks everybody.